So I feel like everybody at this point knows about that Sonic McDonald's commercial from Pakistan. You know, the one that brought us great moments like this. Or, you know, this cursed naked rat that's supposed to be Rouge, and overall, it just feels like one of those surreal entertainment videos. This commercial, though, just always really perplexed me, and I've wanted to find some kind of timeline or budget or whatever was given to this, because to me, at first view, this commercial makes no sense at all. McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar company, and Sega is no slouch either when it comes to money. I mean, look at the commercial they aired in France for the same Sonic LCD toys, and it's a world of difference. I mean, look at Cream the Rabbit in France versus this abomination who's playing Flower Catch, whatever that is, and you'll see a monumental difference in quality. The weirdness of licensed McDonald's commercials, though, from Pakistan just continues from here. If we look at Crash Bandicoot, we can see that with his promotion, if I'm being honest, Crash actually doesn't look horrible. But man, if Neo Cortex doesn't look like some middle-aged dad instead of a mad scientist here, like seriously, just get this guy to a barbecue. He clearly doesn't want to be in a racing game. This trend would seemingly continue with other large properties like this Hello Kitty one that gives her this really creepy mouth. But the part that gets me literally every time I watch it is this part right here.
I am a little queen.
And it just honestly, it cracks me up because it's equal parts hilarious and terrifying just to watch her head suddenly snap and turn towards the viewer as she faces us and then says that she's a little queen, which like is just so unnerving with that creepy Joker smile she's got. I'm honestly surprised that image was never used for some kind of creepypasta or something like that, because like that's the level that this animation is on. Now, if I'm totally honest, this isn't my place to go over all of the commercials, and others have done this before, and I don't want to be beating a dead horse, but I just really wanted to establish this weirdness to you if you weren't aware of these commercials. So like I said, these commercials just really perplexed me, and for a long time, it was something that I never really thought about until fairly recently when I had an anxiety attack while trying to go to sleep, and I kid you not, the anxiety attack led to me trying to figure this out. So in bed, I found myself searching for answers to this as I tried to get my mind off of what was giving me my anxiety attack to start with. I first started by trying to find the names of, like, anybody, a 3D animation studio, somebody who worked for McDonald's at this time, just something, but honestly I came up blank every single time. It's almost as though nobody wanted to advertise this masterpiece. I kind of felt like I was at the standstill where I wouldn't be able to get anywhere, because aside from people making fun of these commercials, I really couldn't find that much information on it. Like, there was this Kotaku article that I kept seeing get referenced in different places, and I thought that it might have something, just because it was referenced in other articles, but it seems as though Kotaku took down the article, and I couldn't find anything on the Wayback Machine about it, so literally who knows what Kotaku said, but if it's anything like anybody else, it was pretty much just another dead end where it's just look at these funny commercials, let's laugh at them. I think though I ended up stumbling on a possible answer to this question though while looking up the popularity of McDonald's in Pakistan, and on the McDonald's Pakistan website I found that there were 75 restaurants across the entire country, which sounds to me like a pretty low amount. To get a reference, I tried to find a country that was in a similar size to Pakistan to see how many McDonald's they had, and 15 places below Pakistan, I found France on this list of countries, which I remembered had a visually much more impressive commercial. So I looked up the amount of restaurants that McDonald's France has, and I found that there was a slight difference. France had over 1,400 restaurants in their country, which has less than half the population of Pakistan. So I guess, like, there's an obvious sign here that there's way more revenue to be made in France than there is in Pakistan, which I guess would reflect the amount of funding that's being sent towards McDonald's Pakistan versus, like, say, McDonald's France or McDonald's anywhere else in the world that has a larger presence. Or at least that's the best answer I could come up with, because literally there's like no information on these commercials, which is incredibly disappointing because I wish I could find something on it. Just even like an interview with somebody who worked on this would be at least somewhat interesting. Now, just to make things clear, I'm not a stranger when it comes to weird 3D animated stuff. I'm Canadian, and if you didn't know, Canada put out a ton of 3D animated work in the late 90s and early 2000s. This period as a child was wild for me when it came to 3D animation in Canada, and I've seen some really funky looking 3D animated shows that, yes, while a technical point of view were very impressive, and sure, they were pretty cool and had some interesting writing, but I think it's hard to forget that Canada also made that Donkey Kong Country show, which had some songs that unironically seriously slap. Like, I mean, listen to this.
How can this be? I think they recall singing
tree to tree. Now I see a pirate that's in front of me. The slimy skin and beady eyes, what a surprise. The reflection tells the story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust my eye, the mirror never lies. The reflection tells the story of a pirate's life of glory. Trust your eye.
But also, it had some very questionable animation and writing in it, and it also brought some less redeeming shows that I'm sure many people outside of Canada don't know about, like Monster by Mistake. Not to mention, I mean, people love to give praise to Reboot, and I mean, they can do that all they want. It was a cool show, I'm not gonna lie, I was hooked on it too when I was a kid. But let's not act like Mouse here isn't a front to the eyes when it comes to her colors, and that the animation wasn't weird as heck. So that's the end of this kind of short video, and I just wanted to kind of take this fun look back at some old videos that have existed on YouTube forever and try to find some answers to some questions that I had years ago when I first saw them, as I assumed others would probably have similar questions, and, you know, there's probably some people who've just never seen these commercials, so I thought, you know, this video might be able to kill two birds with one stone. I often like to add fun facts at the end of my videos or credits to somebody who helped me with this, but I don't really have much for this video because it was mostly just my own little passion project on the side and I couldn't find much information on it. So here's a fun fact. In my 5 years on YouTube, this is the second time that I've mentioned Mouse from Reboot, which, like, I know it isn't a lot, but it's weird that I mentioned Mouse twice now, right? Especially when neither video was related to Reboot. Now, if you enjoyed this look at these old commercials and feel as though I earned any kind of like, subscribe, comment, or your firstborn child, whatever, feel free to do so, but as always, I'm not your boss, none of that's necessary, and I just hope you have a nice day.
Then he tricked me and I ran spell. Now every time I sneeze, monster by mistake. My sister Tracy tries to spell book. She never gets it right, but Tracy doesn't ever give up. 'Cause you know when